Hi everybody, this is my presentation on critical thinking and my name is Christina Kidwell. This presentation is meant for teachers to further their knowledge on critical thinking. So what exactly is critical thinking? According to the website criticalthinking.org, it is the mode of thinking about any subject, content, or problem in which the thinker improves the quality of his or her thinking by skillfully analyzing, assessing, and reconstructing. And here are just some ways that critical thinking skills can overlap with one another. Reasoning and evaluating, problem solving, decision making, analyzing, they can all go hand in hand. So here are on this slide, these are some sentence stems that could get our students to think more critically. So for example, why do you think that we should do this instead of this? Or explain to me why you use this strategy to solve the problem. Do you think that this is the most effective way to solve the problem? Why do you think that happened next in the story? And how can you connect to what you read in this chapter to something that has happened to you in real life? Those are just some examples that will allow your students to come up with answers that will allow them to think more critically. And I really enjoyed this quote, and I'll just let you read it for yourself. So most critical thinking comes from questioning from the teachers or from students themselves. We can all think differently and come to the same conclusion, especially in math. And so for example, two different students might have two completely different ways of getting to an answer, but if they have the same answer, then those strategies that took them to get that answer is just fine. And the last bullet point is probably one of the most important ones. As long as they can justify their answers, they are critically thinking. As long as they can explain to you why and how they got their answer, then that is part of critical thinking. And then these are just some verbs that will lend itself to think critically. Allowing time for student discussion with each other rather than one-on-one with the teacher is much more critical thinking based if they're talking with one another. They can have, or you can also have students construct their own learning by finding their own strategies to a solution. And it's okay for students to make mistakes. Many times that is the best way they learn. And these are some examples of critical thinking lessons that I have done with my students. You can read it as I kind of explain it. So for example, the class is pretending that they are going to a petting zoo. They cannot see the animals when they're napping. They need to allow for time for the class to play on the playground and time for the class to eat lunch. And so they have to come up with a schedule for the day. And then here is another example of a critical thinking lesson where the girl Claire has 50 cents to spend and she wants to get as much candy as she can possibly get. And so number 1, 2, and 3 are different ways that she can buy candy. Critical thinking will allow our students to become lifelong learners and problem solvers. It is one of the most important aspects to teaching. Thank you very much.